Good afternoon, everybody. Amy Conley here with United Way of Door County. My guest this week for our partner interviews is Chad Welch. Chad, do you want to introduce yourself to everyone?
Sure, thanks, Amy. My name is Chad Welch, and I am the Community Impact Coordinator for Education with the Door County Partnership for Children and Families / United Way.
You have one of those really long titles. I like to say here at United Way, we give everyone really long titles.
It keeps us guessing. I hand out 2 business cards, half with the title on each. Yeah.
So we talked with Rebecca a few weeks ago about her work with the partnership. But do you want to tell us a little bit about some of the things that your side of the Partnership for Children and Families does?
Sure. We have a couple of different angles. First angle that we try to focus quite a bit on as of late is the mental health aspect and mental wellness. And we do that through mental health cafes where in partnership with Stride and some of the other agencies in the county, we offer an opportunity for parents to come together and talk about their health, their mental health, and what that means. What does it look like if you're healthy? What are stresses? What are anxieties? How do you overcome those? So we run a series of those. I do something called WOW Cafes, Words of Wisdom. That is with high school age kids. And those are also geared, not necessarily specific to mental health, but those conversations often turn to mental health, what it's like to be a kid these days in the schools. Dealing with COVID and virtual school and all of the complexities that it is to be a teenager. It was hard enough when I was a teenager, and now it seems like it's extra hard.
Yes.
So we do those. We have regular parent cafes where we have a specific topic, such as concrete support in times of need. So parents can come together and talk about what does that mean? How do you find support and build relationships with one another, support networks, trying to get people to understand that they're not the only person in Door County that's experiencing whatever it is they're experiencing. We have different programs, like I call them singles, on stress relief. It may be meditation, it could be art therapy, just standalones that we offer at different times. On our partnership webpage, we have a little section called Chat with Chad, where I try to do usually something focused towards mental health. Maybe it's tips for avoiding summer slide and anxiety with going back to school. Maybe it's dealing with bullying in school. Always something where parents have the opportunity to interact back with me. And not that I have all the answers, but I like to do research based and just share that information. And at least I can always direct them somewhere if I don't know the answers. Another one that we do is a lot of stuff dealing with the stigmas of mental health related to mental health. How do you overcome those stigmas? Why do we have those stigmas? Programming on that too. So those are some of the main ones. Then there's the other side of the partnership. We have a program called Raising a Thinking Child. That is a class that we offer free to parents of 4 to 7-year-olds. In a nutshell, I mean, it's way more involved, but in a nutshell, it teaches parents to teach their children how to think, not what to think. So parents aren't just saying, do this because. It's all about helping the kids to say, oh, I want to do this because. So that's a really popular program, one that I really enjoy teaching. We offer standalones also on, we've done dyslexia awareness. How do you recognize it? How do you work with kids with dyslexia? Internet safety, how to build really healthy relationships for kids, school parent engagement, oh my goodness, implicit bias, what's trauma-informed care look like, 7 essential ingredients of trauma-informed care. Trying to think.
A long list.
Long list, yeah. So.
Well, good. So Chad, I've got a few questions because I'm sure our viewers are like, wow, that's a lot.
Sure.
So first of all, I think most of our viewers know I'm not a parent. So they're like, what? Why is United Way? Why is the partnership doing this? So Chad, can you confirm with everyone? Yes, you are a parent?
I am a parent of four.
Okay.
So yes, I have experience.
Yes, because I know I've read the books, right? I can sound smart, but we really want people to know, Chad has that parenting experience. Also, Chad does have his teaching degree, so he has actually taught those middle school and high school kids,
Yeah,
and kind of understands them, right?
as much as you can understand a teenager, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I want to reassure folks that, if you join any of these cafes that he's talked about, that, it is, yes, research that he's done, information he's gained, but also can just give you that, yeah, I'm a dad and I remember what it was like when my kids were 4. Yeah, I totally get that. Even though, yes, now it's different with COVID, some of those basic challenges are
Yeah,
still there.
for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
and sometimes I think more. than-
Yes,
So,
definitely.
Yeah.
So all of those cafes that you mentioned, Chad, is there a cost to attend those?
no, those are all absolutely free. In fact, all of the programming that I mentioned is absolutely no cost to anyone in the community, in the Door County community. Um,
Wonderful.
we've actually had international attendance at some of the programs, so national and international, and it's all no cost. So, and that's due to the generosity of the folks in Door County and their giving to the campaigns and whatnot.
Good.
So
And right now, we're still doing everything on Zoom, right?
everything is Zoom right now, just keeping it safe and until things get back to normal, whatever that's going to look like.
I know people keep asking what that new normal is, and I'm like, I'm not really sure. And this just might be it, where we have this COVID thing going
Yeah,
on, and we all just do our best to adapt.
yeah.
So if I'm a parent, a grandparent, a foster parent, an aunt, an uncle, really just a caring adult in a child's life, can I join in these activities?
Yeah, absolutely. We encourage, even if you're not a caregiver of a child, I mean, anyone is welcome to attend. And they do it, people do attend that don't necessarily have children, but live in the community and want to understand
Mhm.
the kids better, understand what's going on and how they can be supportive role models really in any child's life. So, yeah, anybody can attend and we encourage that. So, yeah, please do.
Good. I know for Raising a Thinking Child, which you mentioned, you have a co-facilitator.
Yes.
Do you and Carly have a date picked yet for the next session, or am I getting ahead of myself?
You're just a little bit ahead. We're looking at October, with school just starting up in Sturgeon Bay. Um, Carly's just asked for a little reprieve to get things going at the elementary level. So, but I think we're looking probably mid-October is a pretty safe bet to
Okay.
start doing those. And then it's a 6-week program. So we'd be, ideally, we want to finish before Thanksgiving. So
Okay.
that's the general
And
timetable.
and that's typically in the evening, right?
Yep, we would run those 6:30 to 7, either 6 to 7, 6:30 to 7:30, somewhere in there. We try to keep it right around an hour.
Okay.
That's the feedback we've gotten. That's what's worked best for the parents.
Mhm.
So, and that
So,
seems like a pretty safe time. So,
so time to get the kids set with their evening meal, and then before bedtime, bath time, whatever goes on after that, 7:30.
yep. And we've had the last session, we even had kids sit along and join, and apparently I'm highly entertaining to look at on a computer screen because they seem to have fun. So, um, who knew?
Good.
Yeah.
And so for that Raising a Thinking Child class, um, if your kids are like 3 years old and up, what was the age again for that one?
It was really designed 4 to 7 year olds,
4 to
but I would
7?
say if you have a child, I, I would come to it. I mean, I use
Okay.
techniques in there on my teenagers, and
Mhm.
it works really well. So I think if you have any child, it's useful. Especially, I would say, once your child is able to start kind of thinking on their own about stuff, I think it's probably never too early to start. And at
Mhm.
least you have the tools in your toolbox to be ready when they do start thinking. So
I
be
know,
prepared.
I know one of the examples for that is, as parents or as that adult caregiver, a lot of times the child's ready to do whatever, and you see them and you just yell, "Don't do that."
Yeah.
And then you get them out of the situation, but you forget to go back and have that conversation.
Yep.
And from my understanding, raising a thinking child reminds you to take that pause and say, now, Chad, a few minutes ago, I told you not to jump off the deck.
Yep.
This is why, and you can kind of have that conversation, right?
Yep, exactly. It's more asking questions of, Amy, why do you think it would be bad for you to jump off the deck? What do you think could happen if you jumped off the deck?
Okay.
And get kids to start going, oh, wait a minute, I could get hurt. I could make mom or dad mad. I could, land in the flowers, whatever the case is. Um, and so ideally, we had that off before, later on down the road, the parent has to intervene. The child's already said, ooh, shouldn't probably jump into mom's hostas. Not a good call.
Mom probably doesn't want me wrecking those hostas, especially if there's those expensive hostas.
Exactly. Yep. Yep.
Well, good. Well, you've given us so much information today, Chad. So people can find you on Facebook, right?
They can.
Okay.
Door County Partnership for Children and Families, or our webpage is Door County Parents, all lowercase, all one word.com, doorcountyparents.com.
And then if they want to just reach you directly, what's the best way to do that?
Email is chad@unitedwaydc.com, or my phone is 920-421-3146. And
421-3146, and they
3146.
can text or call
They
that,
can
right?
text or call that number. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so, just to those caregivers out there, please know Chad is just one of many resources here in our community. But if you're like, my kids, I just don't know what to do, or my God, I'm a parent and I'm really struggling, please just reach out. And if he's the right resource, you can start that conversation. If he's not, he will gladly refer you to the correct one.
Absolutely.
Good.
Be happy
So
to help.
Chad, as you know, we end each of these interviews by talking about ALICE.
Uh-huh.
So ALICE stands for Asset Limited Income Constrained Employed. And this has become a bigger focus for United Way, with about a third of Door County residents in that living paycheck to paycheck, that ALICE budget category. How do the programs we just talked about help those that might be living in that ALICE budget?
Because they're free. I mean, in simple terms, there's no cost to parents. And in normal times, pre-Zoom meetings, we provided on-site childcare as well as a meal for families.
Okay.
And the goal is to remove any barriers that would inhibit folks from attendance. So that was always our number one priority, as well as now keeping the cost down. And even though I roughly, like, raising a thinking child class for the supplies, the books that we send, it's roughly around $35 per family when you add all that together. So again, through the generosity of the community, we don't have to charge families that, and we don't ever want there to be barriers for someone trying to improve their knowledge base, or being a better parent or grandparent or caregiver. So that, I think, is our commitment through the partnership, is to
Good.
always have these free of charge to families.
That is great. And I know we usually end on that, the part about ALICE, but I just thought of something that I wanted to remind people of. Um, the staff here at United Way and the staff at the partnership, if you reach out for help or guidance or assistance, no one's thinking you're a bad parent or a bad caregiver.
Absolutely,
We all struggle, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
I like to tell people, and my kids, all four of them will freely tell anyone that will listen that I make mistakes as a dad, and and I have and I will. We all do that, and that's part of growing up and learning and becoming a better parent, a better person, a better
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, it's a judgment-free zone. There,
Mhm.
I don't ever want there to be concerns about somebody feeling they're less than, because that's simply not the case. So that's a big priority too.
Yeah, so I just wanted to remind folks of that because I know it's pretty scary to pick up the phone. And even if it's sending a text at first, which is pretty anonymous, but it is like, what are these people going to think of me? So just wanting to remind folks, it is a judgment-free zone. You don't even have to tell Chad your name. Um,
Yep, it's true.
he will just, help you through whatever's going on and get you connected to the right resources.
Absolutely.
Well, Chad, thank you for everything that you and the Partnership for Children and Families do. We really appreciate it.
Well, you're welcome. My
All
pleasure.
right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you later.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.